go. What is going on? What is going on, people? Again, welcome back to the Big B Daily Show, man. This is your man, Brien Hanley, Big B. What is going on? We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Championship weekend. It is championship weekend, man. What is going on, people? I appreciate y'all being here, man. We are, like I said, live on TikTok. TikTok, keep doing your thing. 3,500 likes. Keep tapping the screen and at least 30 new follows. Let's see what we got. And YouTube, everybody on YouTube, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, man. Come subscribe. Let's have a good Friday, people, and let's get it going. So, first thing is coaching hires. We had a couple coaching hires. Raheem Morris, let's start there. Raheem, he's getting another chance. You know, he was the coach at Tampa. He was too young, I think. Too young. 27-year-old head coach. You got guys that are 35, 36. It's not that you can't be the same age or maybe somebody can't be a little older than you, but I would say the majority of the locker room was his age or older. That's tough to be a leader of men. That's tough. At 27, I'm not sure you could lead yourself that much more than, and then talking about leading men, I think that's just tough. I think that's just tough. Not to mention he was going out with the guys, hanging out at the strip club, partying with the guy. You can't do that as the head coach. You cannot do that as the head coach. You know, it's one thing if y'all go out to dinner. Okay. You know, and that might even be pushing it, going out to dinner. You know, go to a charity event. You can definitely do that. But you can't go to the strip club with the fellas, say, hey, man, after practice, we're going down to the strip club. Come on down with me, man. I'm riding. I'm driving. Ride with me. You can't do that as the head coach. Can y'all imagine Andy Reid saying, hey, man, telling Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, Chris Jones, or taking the O-line, saying, hey, O-line, let's go, man. Strip club's on me tonight. Come on, man. You can't do that. You can't do that. So, and that's the whole thing. He was just too young to be even put in that situation. Now, granted, yeah, you're going to take that opportunity when it comes, but he was just too young. He was just too young. And I know there's some people that think, man, 15 years is a long time. Well, hey, man, first of all, how do you know when he was going to get the opportunity initially? How do you know when he should have gotten his first opportunity initially? You know, was it 31? Was it 28? Was it 37? We don't know. You know, so saying that he had to wait another 15 years, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I mean, who knows how long it takes to get that bad taste out of their mouth? Because owners knew what he was doing. Owners knew. So that's the whole problem with that. But I'm glad he got his second chance because I think he deserves it. I think he's a good football coach. I think what he is doing, what he did with the Rams, he's a Super Bowl caliber defensive coordinator. He absolutely is that. So good for him. Good for Raheem Morris. And if they can find a quarterback, here's a scenario. Y'all let me know what you think about this scenario. You got Raheem Morris. He's going to come in and make the defense even better than what it already was. Don't you make a phone call to Eric Bieniemy? I think you do. I think you make a phone call to Eric Bieniemy and bring him in as your offensive coordinator. That's what I would do. Then you got to go find a quarterback. But I think Eric Bieniemy, I think that's the first phone call that you make. And maybe that's his plan. That's the first phone call that you make. Eric Bieniemy. Because unfortunately, it looks like Eric Bieniemy's chances in his time to be a head coach, I think that is past. I think that is past. Whatever the reason that he is not a head coach, whatever it is, it's pretty clear that owners don't want to hire him. They're not comfortable with him. So whatever it is, man, it is what it is at this point. If he wants to stay in the league, which I'm quite sure that he does, because he is an excellent offensive football coach. Look at Kansas City. Look at Kansas City without him. They struggled. So, and I just think that's the first phone call you make if I'm Raheem Morris. I bring in Eric Bieniemy. I say, hey, man, come be my offensive coordinator. We're going to get you a quarterback. We are going to get you a legitimate quarterback. You're not going to have to worry about Sam Howell. We're definitely not going to stick with Ritter or Tyler Heineke being the offensive or being the quarterback. We're going to go get you a quarterback. We got some cap space. We got some capital. We're going to go get a guy. And I don't think, and let me ask you all this. I don't think that Atlanta should even stick with getting a rookie. I think they need to go get a veteran. I think they need to trade for Russell Wilson. And just, I don't know if they got the money to pay Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you'd want to do that, but maybe. I just think I don't think they should just sell themselves short with a rookie. I think they should go get a guy that can come in and play right now, because they were basically a quarterback away from winning that division. We know that. They were a quarterback away from winning that division. So I like getting Eric Bieniemy to come run that offense, go get you a quarterback. I think Atlanta's got something, people. Yeah, talking about trading for Kyler Murray, I'd do that. Now, it's going to be crazy. I mean, if the Cardinals are asking for something stupid, I'm not giving you something stupid. I'm not giving you 2 first-round picks for Kyler Murray. You ain't getting that. You signed Kyler to that contract that you want out of. So you either come to the table and make it make sense. Hey, how about that? Make it make sense. Or you can keep him. But that's what I would do, man. That's what I would do. Good for him. Got another coach. I think his name is Canellis. Dave Canellis. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how I'm going to pronounce it till otherwise. Going to Carolina. Now, I don't know, people. I don't know. I just, oh, man. I just don't know about that Carolina job. I know it's an NFL job. It's one of 32 highly coveted jobs in this world. I'm just not sure that I would be ready to just jump at that as my first opportunity. You got an owner that meddles tremendously. And he's not a football guy. He's not a football guy. And he gets in the way. Just continuously meddles, will dress you down in meetings in front of your subordinates. I just don't know that that's the first job that I'd jump at. You would have to give me a minimum of a 6-year contract. Otherwise, I'm not coming to work for you. Your reputation precedes itself. I'm not coming to work for you for nonsense. So, yeah, he's a hedge fund guy. We know, and that's fine. You could be a hedge fund guy. You can be that. Stay out of football business, though. Hire football people to run your football team. You don't know how to do it. Don't tell me what I need to do. I know we got to win. We got some troubles. Figure it out. So, but yeah. So Dave Cannell, he did a good job with Baker Mayfield this year, though. He did a really good job with Baker Mayfield this year in Tampa. They won a division, won a playoff game it wasn't on the road. It was at home. Beat Philly, smacked Philly around. Got to give him credit. I think he became a candidate basically the last 2 or 3 weeks. And he parlayed that into a head coaching job. Good for him. I don't know if it's the job that I would want, but if that's the only head coaching job you should get, pause, by the way. If that's the only head coaching job that you can get, then by all means, go take that job, man. Go take that job. Good for him. We got some talk over here on YouTube. My man, Patrick Cockrell, always shows up. What's going on, Patrick? He said Kyler Murray, I don't think is very reliable with his history of not studying film. Yeah. I mean, Kyler is a top 10 talent. Kyler Murray is for sure a top 10 talent. But I'm just not sure that he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't know that I would want him over other guy. I'm not sure. With everything that comes with him, he would have to show me more maturity. He would have to show me more maturity. My man James Richards, who always shows up. What's going on, James? Crazy to see Vrabel is not coaching a team yet. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for the gifts, Austin. We appreciate it, man. But yeah, we thought Vrabel was going to be possibly the first guy gone. And people thought he was going to New England. And I just thought, man, he's not going to New England because why would you get rid of Belichick to bring in Vrabel if supposedly he's a carbon copy? What's the point? Which leads me to believe that he's not going to go to Seattle either, because why would you get rid of Pete Carroll just to bring in Mike Vrabel? What, a younger version of Pete Carroll? What's the point in that? I don't get it. So, and I'm not saying Vrabel won't end up in Seattle. I'm just saying it wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So we got 2 openings left, Seattle and Washington. And I think the word on the street is Washington has already made their decision. They're just waiting on Ben Johnson to be done with the playoffs to make their announcement. So I think that's pretty much, the word on the street is Ben Johnson going to Washington. New ownership. It's not the same franchise, people. It will not be the same franchise moving over. Or moving forward, I should say. It will not be the same franchise, which is good for them. Because Dan Snyder ran them into the ground. He ran it into the ground. Just a despicable ownership all the way around. Just had no idea what he was doing. Had bad people in positions. Hired people. Like he hired Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier didn't want to coach them, but he took the money. And Dan Snyder was willing to give it to him. How many coaches did he do that to? I'm like, golly, this guy. So, but it's new ownership now. New ownership. We'll see a new day. I think the Commanders will be back, and if they even keep the name Commanders, but I think they'll be back. Give them a couple years, and I think they'll be back competing, because they're going to have to turn that entire franchise around, and I think they're on the right path to doing that. So let's move on a little bit, people. Let's move on. Brock Purdy. Can Brock Purdy legitimize his season by going to the Super Bowl? Does he need to go to the Super Bowl to legitimize his season? I think he does. I don't think that you can say, first of all, Brock Purdy had a great year. Let's get that out of the way. Brock Purdy had a great year. But yes, somebody just pointed out over on TikTok, my man Ryan, what's going on, man? Jimmy G got him to the Super Bowl. He got him to several NFC championship games. I think Brock Purdy's got to get him to the Super Bowl. Because otherwise, what are we talking about here? 7th round pick doing all this. He already won. No, he didn't already win anything. Brock Purdy is a great story, had a great year. That ain't winning. Because if they don't win and they keep coming up short, Brock Purdy ain't going to get paid. Not like he probably should. So I think he's got to win. I think they got to get to the Super Bowl. Now, whether they win it or not, it's a different conversation. But I think they got to get there. So, well, a lot of us won in the game of life, man. I mean, you can talk about he won in the game of life. I mean, he got a full ride scholarship to go to Iowa State and play football. That's winning. And then he's playing professional football. That's winning too. But I got a full ride scholarship to go play at Kansas State. I won. I get to talk to you guys about sports every day. I'm winning. There's a lot of people that win, man. It ain't just because he's playing for the 49ers. So we can't just say somebody's winning at life because of that. A lot of us are winning at life. A lot of us. And even if that means you work every day, that doesn't mean that you're not winning at life. We got to put some stuff in some context. So I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. But Brock Purdy, I think they got to get there. I think they got to get there to legitimize the season. Otherwise, better yet, aren't people going to say that the 49ers season was a failure if they don't get to the Super Bowl? I would say, yeah, they are. I don't even think it's up for debate on whether people are going to say that the season was a failure if they don't get to the Super Bowl. Because the whole thing of it was they would have made it to the Super Bowl last year if Brock Purdy doesn't go out in the NFC Championship game. That's kind of been the 49ers mantra all season long. We would have made it to the championship game. We would have done this. We would have done that. We would have won the Super Bowl, but Brock got hurt. Well, now here's your chance. Now here's your chance. So I think they got to get there to legitimize the season. They got to get there. I think they do. And again, Brock Purdy's had a great year. You can't take that away from him. You know, he played bad last week, but you know what? And I've been on him about not playing well in big moments when they needed him. But he damn sure did it last week. When they needed him, he came up with the drive to win the game. I mean, that's all you can do. He didn't cost them the game, and that's what a lot of quarterbacks do. When they're not playing well, they end up costing their team the football game. Well, Purdy didn't do that. He didn't cost them the game. They were able to hang around. And even though other people may have been helping him, he didn't throw 3 interceptions that cost him the game. He just didn't play well. But then when they needed him to, he won the game. And you're right. He got close because there was 2 times where it could have been picks. The Packers just dropped the ball. So you're right. He got damn close. But it is what it is, man. And maybe it's fate. I don't know. Maybe it is. My man Patrick, again, San Francisco has one of, if not the best rosters in the NFL. Anything short of a Super Bowl appearance is a failure, in my opinion. In my opinion, too, Patrick. And I think in a lot of people's minds, it's the same thing. In a lot of people's minds, if San Francisco does not get to the Super Bowl, their season was a failure. Their season was a failure. So now, having said that, I mean, you can put a lot of different things in context, but I don't know. I think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to look at themselves if they don't get to the Super Bowl as this season being a failure. And then where do you go? Like, what do you do to fix it? I mean, Purdy's still got a contract that's paying him next to nothing. We got to keep it in NFL context and quarterback context especially. So he's still getting paid next to nothing. Where do they upgrade? They upgrade on that offensive line. Do they try to get some more weapons? Which I think they still can do that. Go get some more weapons. Go get some more DBs. Something. Where do they go to get better? It'll be interesting. But we're not going to write the grave on them just yet, people. We're not going to write that headstone just yet. So we'll see what happens this weekend, which leads me right into our next topic, the NFL Championship weekend, people. Let's move on to that. And before we do, as a reminder, Big B Daily Show, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Please, if you're on TikTok, give us a follow. And if you are, click on the YouTube link in my bio and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. Come and join the chat over on YouTube. Get a lot of extra things, interviews, podcasts, Hot Soup Fantasy Football is linked over there. Come on over to YouTube. Check us out. Very simple. Follow, click the link, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to Big B Sports Talk. We appreciate all your all support. Anything as far as super chats, gifts, they're all wide open. We accept anything, and we appreciate you guys supporting the channel to keep the channel up and running so we can keep bringing these out to you on a daily basis. Let's move on to the NFL Championship weekend, people. Let's move on to it. And I'm just going to ask, who do you got? Let's just bring it on out. Who do you got? Do you got the Niners? Do you got the Lions? Do you got the Ravens? Do you have the Chiefs? Who do you got? Chiefs, Lions, Super Bowl. Lions and Ravens. Chiefs and Lions. Lions, Ravens. Lions, Chiefs. A lot of Lions people out there. There's a lot of people wanting the Lions. I know San Francisco fans are everywhere, but there's a lot of people rooting for the Lions. Myself, and I'll just tell you who I am rooting for the Ravens, and I am rooting for the Chiefs. Now, look, it'll be a bad day in my personal household because my wife is a diehard Chiefs fan. Luckily, I'm going to be out of town visiting my mother this weekend, and I won't be back for that Ravens-Chiefs game. I don't even take off to come home until that game is over. So luckily, if the Chiefs lose, which I think they're going to lose, I won't have to be here for that. And if they win, she'll be in a good mood, so I come home to happiness. So y'all talk about winning at life. I'm winning at life. You know, if they lose, the Chiefs lose, I'm not here for her sorrow. And my wife gets vicious when the Chiefs lose. She cusses, she yells, and she is not that way. She is not that type of woman. But when it comes to her Chiefs, she does not take losing lightly at all. And it lasts for a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Well, your boy Big B won't be here for that, people. He will not be here for that. So I won't have to deal with it. I'll come home to maybe a somber home. But if they win, she'll be in a great mood. And I can come home and, hey, what's going on? The Chiefs won. Yeah. And I can be that guy. I'll be that guy. So like y'all said earlier, winning at life, I told you got to keep it in context. You can win at life in a lot of different ways. Big B's going to win this weekend, people. He's going to win this weekend. But getting back to the game, I am rooting. My rooting interest. And even as a Steelers fan, I'm a diehard Steelers fan, but I love Lamar Jackson. I want to see him get to the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for the Ravens to win. And as I've said all week long, the Detroit Lions are going to end up, if they win, they're America's darling, number one. Everybody wants to see Detroit win because I am interested in the party. I want to see what happens in Detroit if they go to a Super Bowl. And I've said this, and I'll continue to say it. I don't want any people getting hurt. I don't want any businesses being destroyed. I mean, if they just light up a street and just say, we're going to pour gasoline on the street and light it on fire, that's probably what they're going to do in Detroit. I just want to see the party. Because it's been a minute. And I know that the Pistons won and the fans loved it. It's just not the same in Detroit as if your football team wins. I want to see that party, man. I want to see that party. So, Gold Star family, what do you mean they already won? Please don't tell me you're one of those conspiracy script people. Please don't tell me you're that. Please don't tell me you're that. And if they are, and if you are, well, I'll just wait to see if you answer. I'll just wait because those people get on my absolute last nerve, but we'll move on. So, my man Austin says the Chiefs are the new Patriots. America wants to see them lose. Can't say I disagree. Yeah, you're right. They are 100% the new Patriots. People get winning fatigue. People get winning fatigue, just like they get MVP fatigue. People get tired of the same team winning over and over and over. People get tired of that. They want to see something new. I'm part of that, and it's not that I have anything against the Chiefs other than, I'd love to stick if my wife's team loses. It doesn't bring me joy. I'm not that guy, but I don't mind. I don't mind sticking the knife in a little bit and twisting it. I don't mind that. And I usually don't do it in her face. I usually come on here and say stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I've been married 20 years. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to just rub it right in her face. Who the hell does that? And then have to deal with that. I mean, But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the Chiefs lose. It is what it is. But I also don't mind if the Chiefs win. I mean, it doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. But I do prefer that Lamar Jackson get to a Super Bowl. For nothing else, to shut people up about what they say about him. That's all. I want to see him win. He's been playing good, but I will say this. The same thing that I said about the San Francisco 49ers, about how they got to get to a Super Bowl to legitimize their season, the Baltimore Ravens have to do the same thing. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We've been saying it for years. Lamar needed weapons. He got weapons. He got paid a big contract. No more excuses. They're healthy. They're getting all their guys back for this game. You got to get to the Super Bowl. You got to get there. And in Lamar's case, I think he's got to win it, but they at least got to get there. And that's where I stand on it. And I'm a Lamar guy. Even though I'm a diehard Steelers fan, I love Lamar Jackson. I always have. And y'all see in the background there, I'm a Louisville fan. I've been a Louisville fan my entire life. I got a Lamar little bobblehead on my desk back there. Now it's broken, so otherwise I'd pick it up for you. But yeah, that's the thing. I love Lamar Jackson. But they got to get to the Super Bowl. They got to get there. If he doesn't get there, their season is a failure. Now, I know a lot of teams can say that, but everybody doesn't have Super Bowl aspirations. The Arizona Cardinals didn't have Super Bowl aspirations. Everybody doesn't have that. The Steelers, we didn't have Super Bowl aspirations. We thought we could be good, but we didn't have Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, let's keep it legitimate. The Ravens had that. The Ravens absolutely have it. So, do I love Burrow? No, not at all. But yeah, so the Ravens got to get to a Super Bowl in order for them to legitimize that season. Now, here's a comment, and I know everybody can appreciate this. My man Darren Howard over on YouTube says, we want to see Taylor cry. I'm signing up for that. I can tell you right now, I am signing up to see if the Chiefs lose. I'm signing up to see Taylor Swift cry. Now, I know there's some Swifties out there that are going to be mad. You're going to unfollow me. You're going to unsubscribe on YouTube. Please don't. I'm just tired of seeing her after every single play. After every play. What I really want to see, though, more than anything, is Mahomes throw a pass, Kelsey tips it, doesn't catch it, and a guy intercepts it and runs it back for a touchdown. Then go to Taylor Swift. And see what she says then. See what she's thinking then. That's what I want to see. Don't just show me when he catches the 2-yard out or the 8-yard pass and go to see her clapping and dancing and high-fiving. Let's see what she does with a little adversity. That's what I want to see. And again, I don't begrudge the NFL for what they're doing. I mean, they're milking this thing for every cent that they can. More power to them. And I know plenty of people have said it. You get little young, adolescent, teenage girls to buy in and to watch what you got going on. They don't even understand football, but they will watch football for the simple fact to get a glimpse of Taylor Swift. NFL's just cashing in. They're just cashing in. So I don't blame them, man. I don't blame them. Now, to break down the game, let's go. We're going to open this up to the open mic section. To break down the game, first game, and we'll do the Chiefs against the Ravens. I said the same thing last week that I said about the Ravens or the Chiefs this week, is that the Chiefs got to run the football. That's easier said than done, but they got to be able to run the football to have a chance. And if they can run it, they got a chance to beat the Ravens. Now, saying that they can run the ball against the Ravens is much easier said than done. So, much easier said than done. But if they can do it, they got a better chance of winning the game. And they did that against Buffalo last week. Are they going to be able to do it against the Ravens without Joe Tooney? Because Joe Tooney, they're saying, isn't going to play. More than likely isn't going to play. Well, that's taking an all-pro left guard out of your lineup. And although his backup played okay last week, the 13 snaps that he played, he's a backup for a reason. I mean, you got an all-pro in front of him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. There are more ways that the Ravens can win this game than there are ways that the Chiefs can win. There are more ways that the Ravens can win the game versus the Chiefs. Now, the Ravens are going to run the ball. That's what they do. They're going to try to run the ball. And last week, the Bills ran it on the Chiefs until the last 9 minutes of the game. They were playing coverage and had light boxes, and the Bills just said, well, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run this football into all light boxes. We're going to check into it. We're just going to run it. And they did. And then the last 9 minutes, then the Chiefs finally said, okay, enough's enough. We're not going to let you run this football anymore. But the Bills took advantage of it. If they come out with that same strategy, the Ravens will have 250 yards by the third quarter, and the game will be over. The game will literally be over. So they can't come out with that same strategy thinking that, well, we're just going to sit back or we're just going to try to keep Lamar in the pocket. If you do that, you're going to get beat because teams aren't going to – when you do that, you're not rushing as hard. You're trying to be very disciplined in your rush lanes and not just going all out to get to the quarterback. It's going to be a problem. Not to mention Lamar Jackson has shown that if you just let him sit back there, he'll move around enough to pick you apart. He's shown it. He's shown it. So I got the Ravens winning. I got it close, but 31-23. And nobody's gotten to 30 points all year on the Chiefs. The Ravens do it on Sunday. 31-23 Ravens. Give me the Ravens. That's who I like. That's who I like. 31-23 Ravens. Could it be closer than that? It could be. But that's what I like. Moving on to the next game. San Francisco versus Detroit. Like I said, I'm rooting for Detroit. I want to see Detroit win. But I just don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to. We got a Wolverine. Hey, Wolverine, it's already scripted. Who do you have your money on? But yeah, the San Francisco against the Lions. I want the Lions to win. But I think San Francisco wins this football game. I think the turnover bug is going to come back to bite Detroit. I think the turnover bug is going to end up coming back to bite Detroit. Jared Goff, he's been good the last few games with the turnover bug. I think it comes back to bite him. And if they have 2 or more turnovers, they're going to get blown out. Now, he may not have that, but I just feel the turnover bug. I got it. I think the game's going to be a little high scoring. 34-24 San Francisco. 34-24 San Francisco. Could it be closer? Yeah. But like I said, I think the turnover bug comes back to get them. 34-24, San Francisco. Both of them will be good games. Both will be good games. But I just think San Francisco is just a little bit better right now. Let's get to this right here. Yeah. Think back to Dan Campbell. My man James Richards says, crazy to look back at the press conference of the Lions coach, Dan Campbell, and fast forward to now. He was right. They're biting kneecaps off. And we all made fun of Dan Campbell, myself included, him talking about biting off kneecaps. We all made fun of him. And now they are in the NFC Championship game. Good for him. Good for them. But the one thing about it is Detroit, another franchise that's run just horribly. They got out of the way. They hired smart football people and finally have just gotten out of the way. Good for them, man. It's a great job of just understanding your flaws. We're a flawed franchise because of us. We got to get some smart people in here. We can't try to make the splash hire like hiring the Matt Patricia. My goodness. Talk about just an absolute nightmare. That man had no business being a head coach. Lord have mercy. And he proved it. Sheesh. So, my man Patrick Cockrell talking about Taylor Swift. They show her for marketing. The TV eyeballs are astronomical because there's a chance of seeing Taylor. I'd be doing the same thing. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There's no question that that's what they're doing. So, and I would do the same thing. You know, like I said, you get teenage girls, you know, and let's just be honest. Teenage girls, when it comes to marketing, they rule the world. What they're watching on TV, I mean, if you get a bunch of teenage girls and adolescents, younger girls watching football, just so they can see Taylor Swift 5 to 6 times in 3 hours, and television networks are winning. Again, winning at life. Television network, you get Taylor Swift on 5 to 6 times in 3 hours, you're winning because all those eyeballs, you're winning at life. So, She performs in Tokyo the week of the Super Bowl. She'll be back. Not to mention, I would bet even if she had a performance on Super Bowl Sunday in Tokyo, she'd push it back. She'd push it back and just say, I got to go see my man. My man's in the Super Bowl. I got to push this back. You know, she'd do it. She would do it. They're in love. They are in love. Good for them, though. Good for them. Good for the television network. Good for everybody. So, good for everybody. But that's what I got, man. That's what I got this week. I got the Lions, or I take that back. I got the 49ers, and I got the Ravens. I'm rooting for the Lions, but I don't think the Lions are going to win. So, we'll open it up. Like I said, man, you all got questions. Spit them out. Again, as a reminder, Monday through Friday, Big B Daily Show, 9 a.m. Central Time, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. So if you're on here and you're on TikTok and you're not following, please give me a follow. We appreciate it. And also, do me another favor. Click on the YouTube link in my bio and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk on YouTube. Come and like, subscribe. A lot of videos, podcasts, interviews. You just get more access over there than you do on TikTok. More access to stuff. So come join us on there. We appreciate it. Anything that you, like I said, to support the channel, we appreciate that. Whether it's a super chat on YouTube, whether it's a gift on TikTok. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing to support the channel, man. We appreciate it. Eminem going to headline the party if the Lions win. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. I may fly in to Detroit. If they win the Super Bowl, I may fly into Detroit and I'll have to go live. We'll have to do the Big B Daily Show live from the Detroit parade. Now, it might be my last show. I may get caught up and something may happen to me. Who knows? Who knows? But that party's going to be wild. That party's going to be wild. So we'll see exactly what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah, that's who I'm rooting for. I am rooting for Detroit to win and make it to the Super Bowl. That's who I'm going for. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the 49ers are just too good. I think the 49ers are too good. So, do I think the NFL is scripted? No. That's just the easy answer. Do you think it's scripted? I guess would be a better question. Do you think the NFL is scripted? Oh, my goodness. See, now we got people like Darren Howard saying Usher and Taylor recreate the Janet Jackson Timberlake halftime show. See, y'all have gotten out of control now. The Goon Squad, y'all have gotten out of control. What are you doing? Now we got Usher and Taylor Swift recreating Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake's halftime wardrobe malfunction. What are we doing, people? What are y'all doing? Goon Squad, what are we? What? Now, first of all, I'd be in for it. Again, I would 1,000% be down for it. But what are we doing? Y'all are nuts. So, there's a good question. Somebody said, ask Damar Hamlin if it's rigged. The man died on the football field. So, I guess he signed up for that, though. He signed up to die on the football field and hope that somebody could bring him back to life. Who signs up for that? And just a quick question. I mean, who? Yeah, I'm going to sign up for that, man. I'll sign up. Kill me on the field, and hopefully y'all can bring me back. Yep, sign me up. Whew. It's just crazy. It's just great. And I always say the same thing. From the jab, yeah, you got people that are insane. Yeah, you got people that are insane. So, do I think, I'm thinking you're saying Lamar or Damar Hamlin wins comeback player of the year. No. Lamar Hamlin, what did he play? Like 12 snaps all year or something like that? Yeah, no, he can't win comeback player of the year. He didn't even hardly play. So, yeah, I'm not getting into conspiracy theories, people. And if you are doing that, you should leave and never come back. If you're a conspiracy person, I don't dabble in that, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. So, and my whole thing about the whole scripted thing, if that's what you believe, you should sell everything that you got and go bet on who that's scripted for. And I know, well, we don't know who's supposed to win. Well, why? Why don't we know what the script is? If you know that it's scripted and you're positive that it is, how is it that you don't know who's going to win? I mean, just like professional wrestling, that's what the NFL is. Got it. Comeback is going to be Flacco. Yeah. I think it's got to be Flacco, don't you think? Either Flacco or Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield's got a better case than Flacco. So, I think Baker Mayfield has a better case than Joe Flacco. Because while Flacco had a hot month, Baker Mayfield's team won the division, and he had a good year. He had a good year. So, that's what I think. Yeah, I got Baker winning that. I think Lamar's going to win the MVP. A lot of people think that CMC should win it. I don't necessarily disagree. I think if Tyreek could have got to 2,000 yards, you could have given it to him. I was hoping that he got to 2,000 yards so that we could make this a real debate. But they decided long ago that this was a quarterback award, so it is what it is. Yeah, Baker got a playoff win. People are forgetting that. Baker, not only did they win the division, they won a playoff game. He's got to be comeback player of the year. Got to be. Got to be. From coming off the scrap heap, being on 3 teams in a season and just thrown away by Cleveland, goes to Carolina, plays lousy, gets his job taken away, goes to the Rams. He didn't play bad at the Rams. He didn't play great, but he didn't play bad. But there was no pressure. And I think that was part of the reason this year there was no pressure in Tampa because they weren't supposed to be very good. So I think it's got to be Baker for comeback player of the year. Think it's got to be Baker. So let's see. Drops a lot. Who dropped? What? Tyreek Hill drops a lot? Will never be an MVP? I mean, if he got to 2,000 yards, he was going to be in that conversation. He was going to be in that conversation, especially in a year where quarterbacks just didn't go berserk. He was going to be in that conversation. But he didn't get there, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Who's winning the Big 12 next fall? Man, that's a long way away. Not only is it a long way away, you still got springtime transfer portal guys. You don't even know who's necessarily going to be on everybody's roster. But if I had to pick right this second, I would say Utah. I would say Utah, Arizona, Kansas State in that order. Utah, Arizona, and Kansas State. Big B, think Belichick gets a job for next year? No. Unless somebody else's job comes open, like somebody fires another coach here, Belichick doesn't get a job. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, the Atlanta job was his, apparently. And he wanted way too much power than what Atlanta was willing to give him because they said, hey, man, we've seen what your team looks like the last 4 years, 5 years. You built that team. We're not interested in that. We're not interested in you building a team. We're interested in you coaching a team, but not building a team. And he wanted more power. And Raheem Morris came in and is a better candidate. Not to mention, if you're Atlanta or if you're any team, do you want Bill Belichick to come in and be your coach for the next 2 to 3 years just so he can get a record and that's it? Or do you want the guy to possibly be there for the next decade? I think what most franchises are looking for somebody that's going to be there for the next decade. And look, maybe it's not meant to be that Belichick has the wins record. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just not meant to be. Every record doesn't have to be broken on everybody's time frame. I mean, I'm not saying every record's not made to be broken because I believe that they are, but maybe Belichick is just supposed to be close. I'm sorry. If I'm a franchise, I don't bring Bill Belichick in for 2 to 3 years. I just don't do that. Unless I'm a franchise that is on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl. And then I tell Bill Belichick, you are not in charge of the roster. We have somebody else that's doing that. I just need you to coach the football team. That's it. Yeah, you can have some input just like every coach should have, but you are not the final decision maker on rosters because we've seen what you've done the last 4 or 5 years in New England, and that roster is horrible. So should Tomlin be on the hot seat? Hey, man, don't get me started on Tomlin. I could be here. We could have a week's worth of show of me talking about Mike Tomlin. I'm over it. I love that Tomlin, what he has done. I think he's a great coach. Tomlin would have been great in Atlanta. Tomlin would have been great in Washington, Seattle. He would be great anywhere. But he's worn out his welcome in Pittsburgh. I'm tired of the mediocrity. And I'll say this, and I've said it a million times, and I know you all have heard me say it, but I'm going to continue to say it. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. It just is. You don't get better. You don't get worse. You're just stuck in the mud. And the Steelers right now are stuck in the mud. Unless the Steelers make some drastic changes, like somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, bringing in Cliff Kingsbury to be the offensive coordinator, you got to do something like that. You got to start thinking outside the box and being better. Do things differently. You can't continue to do things like we did in the 70s and 80s and 90s and think that you're going to win in modern day football. You can't win a Super Bowl just 17-14 and just play great defense, good special teams, have a play or two that you make on offense and win the Super Bowl. You're not doing that. I'm sorry. You're not. Especially if you don't have a great quarterback. And if you think that Baby Hands Pickett and Mason Rudolph is going to lead the Steelers to a Super Bowl, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. So, and somebody says, worry about your sorry Steelers. Okay. But that's probably a Browns fan that's jealous. Because the Browns, remember, were so much better than the Steelers. We're better than you. You're going to fall into the abyss. You don't have a quarterback. You're terrible. And yet the Steelers were able to beat the Browns. And not to mention, they got just as far in the playoffs as the Browns. But the Steelers didn't get embarrassed in the playoffs. The Browns got humiliated. The Browns literally got humiliated. And that's why you don't see any Browns fans saying anything these days to Steeler fans. Because what are you going to say? We were better than you. Really? Well, we just got just as far as you in the playoffs. How did your playoff game go? And the conversation ends. They usually go ducking off and running away somewhere. So I love it. I love it. So let's get back to YouTube here. Off the topic, my man Patrick Conkrell says, off the topic of NFL, but are you looking forward to the expanded college football playoff? 1,000%. 1,000% I'm looking forward, Patrick. I can't wait for the college football playoff to get here. Cannot wait. Can't wait for it. 12 teams. The season goes longer. I think they said that the season was going to last until like January 20th or something, 20th or 29th or something like that. I'm like, I'm in. Give me 12 teams. Let's battle it out. Now, what I'm not going to like is that them giving 7 to 8 spots to either SEC or Big Ten teams. I'm not going to be in for that. But that's what's going to happen the first couple of years. They're going to just give. I'm like, really? Like, outside in the SEC, you had Alabama and Georgia and Ole Miss. Like, LSU wasn't any good. Why the hell would they be in the 12-team playoff? So who else you going to put in from the SEC? What are we talking about? I mean, what are we doing? LSU wasn't any good. Why should they be in? They shouldn't be in. They weren't one of the best 12 teams in the country. Or 10 teams. Whatever. And then in the Big Ten, you had Michigan, you had Ohio State. Now, they'll throw in Penn State. But are we really thinking that Penn State was one of the best 12 teams? Because I don't. Penn State is going to do exactly what they do every year. They're going to beat everybody until they play Michigan and Ohio State, and they're going to get their head beaten in. I don't want to see that in the playoff. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, look, people, I appreciate everybody this week, man. We had a really good week of shows this week, man. A really good week of shows. I appreciate everybody coming in to Big B Daily Show. Again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time. This is our new start time. It's worked out well for everybody involved. I appreciate you guys. Even if you can't watch it live, go to YouTube and go check it out later. Even if you can't watch it live, tell a buddy, hey, man, you got to check out this crazy dude on YouTube. He goes live. He's crazy, but he speaks facts. He speaks facts. You know, he's not going to dive into a bunch of clickbaity nonsense. He's going to give you his opinion. He's not going to back off of his opinion. And whether it's right or wrong, that's his opinion, man. So I appreciate all of y'all showing up. So I appreciate everybody showing up Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Again, if you're on TikTok and you're not following, please give me a follow. And then click the YouTube link in my bio and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube. I appreciate everybody being here today. You all have a great weekend. It's going to be a great football weekend. Don't forget to start watching college basketball. Don't forget to start watching college basketball because I'm going to be all over college basketball, probably maybe a little on Monday, but definitely the rest of the week because we're not going to have a whole lot to talk about because the following week we'll get into all the Super Bowl stuff. So don't forget to start tuning in to college basketball, people, because we're going to start diving into that and NBA basketball as well. Everybody have a great week. Love you guys. Aloha.